Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. So today we had a day jam-packed full of League of Legends action in the morning, or depending on where you're at. First up, we had G2 and Schalke, which was, supposed to be maybe not as banger of a series. A lot of 3-0s were predicted for G2, and you were kind of a madman and feeling a little spicy if you were even going to predict a 3-1 for G2. But after the really fun series we had yesterday with Fnatic and SK, getting to see G2 and, the LEC's best team, what they have to offer was going to be really fun. Them starting their playoff journey, seeing what the road to MSI was going to look like, and then after that, knowing that we had TSM and Evil Geniuses on the horizon, it was supposed to be a really fun day of League of Legends. But again, this series is supposed to be a little bit slower. It's supposed to be a little bit more of a snoozer. But as you guys can see on the screen, this is G2 versus Schalke Game 5 highlights. Somehow we found ourselves here in Game 5 of this series, tied 2-2. G2 with their backs up against the wall. Schalke had been going toe-to-toe with them the whole day, and then we see a Darius ban on the side of G2. Like, Broken Blade had pulled out a Darius, I believe, 3 different times in this series. He had gotten a pentakill on it. There had been so many crazy picks, crazy plays, smite steals, Yankos just refusing to smite ever. So many hilarious memes, so many crazy moments. But again, that led us all the way to this very hype moment of Game 5, and seeing if G2 would be able to pull this one off, or if Schalke would be able to pull this one off and send G2 to the losers bracket really early. Again, there wasn't a ton. There was a lot at stake in this, obviously, but not as much because it is double elim, so you can go down. The loser is just going to play against Fnatic, and Fnatic is tough, but they haven't been looking necessarily great. So G2 wants to win. They want to stay in the winners bracket, obviously, but this was a crazy series, crazy fun games. Viewership was amazing. Viewership was so high. And Game 5 of this series actually started at the same time as Game 1 of TSM Evil Geniuses, and this stuff had like 300 to 400,000 viewers, while the LCS had like 40,000, 50,000 viewers, and that was hilarious to see those memes and everything. But let's get right into this game. Let's see how it went. Let's see if G2 was able to pull it off. When we start out looking at the comps, I know a lot of people were talking about G2's comp, how it looked really interesting. It looked really scary. Two huge tanks in Volibear and Sion. They have Reckless on the Seraphine. I personally think Seraphine is one of the best champions in the game. I think it's absolutely busted. I think if you can get it on your team, AD carry or mid lane, really solid. Some supports are even really good at her as well, but I haven't been as impressed with Seraphine as a support, but I think she's great. A huge carry threat in the mid lane with Caps, and then seeing what Mickey would be able to do on that Gragas as well, which we know he is very good at. But on the other side, it looks like Schalke is ready to scale. G2 has a ton of scaling, tanks and healing and all that, but does G2 want to scale with Schalke? They have an Azir, they have a Jinx. If this game goes late game, how exactly is it going to go? So the drafts were really fun. Getting to see the Jinx coming out in the series. Abadage going to be on the Azir. And yeah, that Darius ban, so we're finally going to see Broken Blade on a different champion and get to see how these things would go. So we get into the beginning of this game. This whole series had been really fun. Some of the games had been crazy, but for the most part, the games had been kind of, a lot of late game scaling and everything like that. But pretty early on, Mickey goes in for the flash body slam. They get an absolute CC chain onto Limit there, and they pick up the first blood onto Reckless, which, getting the Seraphine going, that should be really nice, helping her finish up some of those healing and support items and stuff early on. But they're able to trade back a kill onto the Jinx, and very early on, it's 1-1. And getting that kill onto Jinx and Neon, that seems to be a little bit more valuable. Yeah, G2 get first blood, but again, a Jinx getting going early can definitely be scary. This next clip, 6.5 minutes into the game. It looks like Limit's going down low. He's able to flash away over the wall. Ends up, nothing really happens there. Everybody gets out scot-free. This leads to G2 being able to pick up an early Ocean Drake about a minute later. Gilius going for a little bit of counter jungling there. Caps goes aggressive on Abadage 11.5 minutes into the game. They're able to stun him up under the tower, and the Lucian ult just at the end does actually knock down Abadage. Caps going the wrong way. He's in the other team's jungle, flashing away, dashing away. Broken Blade and Gilius hot in pursuit. Caps tries to get fancy with the Blast Plant play, but Gilius does end up getting the kill, so it's still tied 2-2 there. But G2's out to a little bit of a gold lead, about 1,000 gold lead, 12 minutes into the game, fighting around this second Drake now, and Mickey decides to go for a flash engage again. He knocks Limit kind of towards G2, and he does get caught out. Nice play play there. Yanko secures the dragon. A lot of good stuff going on for G2 here. Gilius getting low. Are they going to be able to finish him off? Not quite there. Mickey runs away with just a sliver of health as well, but Abadage is able to knock him down. So in the end, it's still 3-3 in kills, still tied up, but G2 slowly getting these small gold leads. They have 2 dragons. They're taking down a mid tower. This is going to be the first tower of the game. So G2, despite the kills being 3-3, again, they're getting a ton of small advantages, and they're scaling up, which, again, who knows who's going to be favored in that late game with the scaling, but it doesn't seem like G2, is too afraid of just kind of scaling up. Now they have a 3,000 gold lead, and Jinx Rocket steals the dragon there. That is so crazy. You can't outsmite the Jinx Rocket. It has like an insane execute. So yeah, it does suck that G2 kind of gets pushed off soul point there, but still, they had like a 2,000 to 3,000 gold lead, like 16, 17 minutes into the game, which is just crazy. Just getting advantages everywhere around the map. Limit drops really low there. Mickey kind of, hits him from way downtown with the Gragas ult, which is awesome. Seraphine ult wasn't the best, didn't really hit anything there, but that was going to be okay. They have the Rift Herald still pushing. They're now up 4-3 in kills. They're up 3-1 in towers, 2-1 in drakes. G2 seems to be kind of in total control of this game. And this is kind of how the whole series had gone. Just a lot of teams getting big advantages and throwing. The other team makes a big play. Mickey goes for the flash engage onto Abadage there, but doesn't really get anything out of it. But G2 is able to take 2 towers off the Rift Herald, and that was looking really good. Wonder with such a nice engage onto Neon. He just gets deleted. And at this point, I thought it was over. I was tweeting, how Neon got deleted and how G2 was, how Schalke was done for, but Schalke would fight back into the game. A very nice rel engage by Limit kind of gets everybody stacked up to see if Schalke can dish out any of this damage. Broken Blade picks up a kill onto Mickey. Broken Blade with a double kill, and they just kind of end up getting a ton of kills here. It's actually really exciting. A double kill for Neon as well. Looking to see if they can get the ace. The triple kill for the Jinx. 4-1 now at 20 minutes. Schalke's up 8-4. Actually still down in gold, but they were able to kind of tie it up around 23 minutes. Despite getting an ace to still only be tied in gold was kind of crazy. But Schalke showing some signs of life after G2 had really dominated that early game. And then, it looks like we're going to be able to get into like a mid game where both teams are pretty close. It's game 5. That's always fun and exciting. You don't just want to see like a stomp or anything, in a game 5 situation like this after we get all the silver scrapes, hype, and everything. Both teams fighting over this 4th dragon. It's a big one for G2 to pick up and a big one for Schalke to deny. So whoever's able to get this one is going to be in a much better position. Mickey with just those flash Gragas engages every time, followed up by the Seraphine ult right after that, but Mickey goes down, and G2, who picked this fight, who kind of engaged on this fight, all of a sudden it's not looking so great for them. Neon picks up 2 more kills on this Jinx, 10-7 in kills now. But they'd still be fighting over this dragon. We're 24 minutes into the game. It's looking like G2 is just going to surrender this one over to Schalke. We're going to be tied 2-2 in drakes now. Schalke actually with a gold advantage, around 1,000, 25 minutes into the game, maybe 1,500 now after securing that tower. Still a 2-tower advantage for G2. Neon looks like he's caught out here. He does have the cleanse, so he's able to kind of stay alive for a long time. Even gets hit by the Seraphine ult. They're still not able to get him down. They use so much there, and we're not able to kill off Neon. So that's definitely got to be a little bit disappointing for G2. But nothing too terrible happens. It's not like Schalke was able to punish them right away either. They are able to knock down a tower. Still sitting around a 1,300 gold lead. That gold lead's not really extending or anything. Both teams just playing really even in this mid game, which, it's not even mid game anymore. 35 minutes in. We're getting in a late game now. And both teams still looking really close. Limit decides to go backline with that rel engage, that rel ultimate. Neon trying to dish out damage to his front line, but we get the redemption down from Seraphine. All this healing from Seraphine. It's looking really tough for them to do anything. Their health bars are looking really low, and G2's looking to be in such a good position. Definitely a concern of mine and a lot of other people coming into this game was if the G2 comp had enough damage, were they going to scale better? But so far, they're looking okay in this late game. Abadage is able to pick up a kill outside of the fight. He's kind of even fighting Caps 1v1 right now, but it looks like Caps should be able to get away relatively safely. G2 does take the mid inhib tower. And now Abadage is kind of in a weird position with G2, pushing away. He tries to become a Krug himself and recall. Caps goes over the wall. They are able to spot him out, cancel the recall there, but he is able to TP to safety. Kind of an interesting play there. And now gold is dead even. 38 minutes into the game. It's really anyone's game at this point. Again, Neon just trying to pump as much damage into these tanks as he can. They have the Jinx, they have the Azir for late game, but they were just not able to get through these G2 frontliners in these fights, especially, Sion is just an absolute monster when he's getting all that Seraphine healing. The Jinx Rocket gets body blocked this time. They learned their lesson from the Dragon earlier in the game. G2 secures the Baron. G2 walks on down, secures the the Wind Soul as well, and now are a really good position. 41 minutes into the game, they have Soul. They have almost a 3,000 gold lead. They're starting to push into the base of Schalke. Schalke picked a scaling composition. They have Jinx, they have Azir. It's 40 minutes. This is exactly where they want to be, and the fact that Schalke still isn't able to win any of these fights or anything is just kind of a little disappointing. Shows me a little bit of draft diff, how G2 would just drafted a superior scaling composition. I mean, these tanks are really working out. This Seraphine pick is proven to be really busted, and Caps is able to deal plenty of damage on this Lucian. It's been really scary. He's looking, to be a lot more useful. They even got 6 kills onto Jinx. They have a 2-in-1 Azir. These guys are level 18. They're farmed up. They have items. And it's still not enough for Schalke, and that's really disappointing. G2 just kind of taking apart their base now. 43 minutes. This game was an absolute marathon. But this is going to be one of the last fights. A nice Seraphine ult goes across 2 people there. Limit goes down before he's able to really even do anything. Neon is kiting out from the back, but it's just not doing anything. He's just kind of tickling these tanks of G2. He almost kills Mickey there, but G2 just kind of rips apart Schalke in this fight, and finally, 43 minutes into the game, after a triple kill from Caps, a quadra kill from Caps, G2 is able to knock down Schalke, knock down their base, and knock them down into the losers bracket. This would be around a 44-minute victory for G2. This was an absolute crazy game, an absolute crazy series, way closer than I think anyone thought it would be. I know Grabs tweeted out afterwards, he said it's the year 3020. G2 is still shit at front to back compositions. They had a rough week in scrims trying to work on fundamentals. Nothing worked, and they got too relaxed after game 2. This series should have never been so close, and he takes responsibility for the performance. I think that is an awesome leader, kind of taking responsibility for what happened, because yes, G2 is a far superior team than Schalke. They are a more talented team. They should not be going to game 5, and game 5 shouldn't have been as close as it was. He said they were trying to work on some fundamentals and stuff during the week. Obviously it didn't work out, but G2 smashed Schalke in those first 2 games, and for Schalke to be able to fight all the way back. I don't know why it says I don't follow Grabs. Did I unfollow him on accident or something? I don't know if that's bugged. I've definitely followed Grabs. That's how I even found this tweet in the first place, was from following Grabs. Broken Blade getting creative with the Darius picks, the pentakills, Schalke fighting all the way back. They're looking like a scary team. And yes, they did lose. They're going to have to go face Fnatic now, and that should be an interesting series. A ton of firepower in that series. But G2 and Schalke, after taking G2 to 5 games, you think they're going to be favored over Fnatic, who, yes, they did beat SK and they looked okay, but still they struggled a little bit against SK. But that should be a really fun series next week. G2 getting the winner of Mad Lions and Rogue tomorrow. That should be really fun as well. But in this video, I want to talk a little bit about if we're worried for G2. Are we concerned that, yeah, Grabs is talking about them maybe struggling with front to back composition, struggling with some fundamentals and stuff a little bit, struggling with getting relaxed? Was this just an instance of G2 feeling comfortable being up 2-0, them wanting to troll, mess around a little bit, and then it ends up, being really scary, and they get to game 5 where they always clutch it out, especially in the LEC, especially domestically. They always find a way to win. They just do. That's the G2 way, and they're so talented that really if they ever need to turn it on in a game like that, they are able to do so. I know a lot of people were talking about maybe they didn't want to show that little Seraphine and tank comps that they had ready to go, because it proved to be very strong, and I would not be surprised at all if we start seeing that more around the world. Because I mean, yes, Schalke didn't really build the healing reduction right away, and there was talks about whether the Azir should have gone Leandries instead of Ludens and stuff, and yes, there would have been ways to maybe deal with G2's comp better, but man, that was a scaling juggernaut, just a scary comp from G2, and they played it so well. It's really, Schalke did not have many chances to actually win or finish out that game. But overall, G2, again, they want to be one of the best teams in the world. This is the MSI patch. MSI is just a couple of weeks away. If they're going 5 games with teams like Schalke, and they want to go on and play against teams like I know the LPL is super close right now. We have no idea who's really going to come out of the LPL, whether it's like EDG, FPX, whatever's going on. And then in Korea, whether it's Damwon or T1 or whoever, is the G2 that showed up today going to be able to go toe-to-toe with those teams? I don't know. Obviously, I think they're going to gain a ton of experience and a ton of value from scrimming with those teams and practicing more and learning more, and it's going to be an awesome experience either way, but G2 and G2 fans and European fans and Western League of Legends fans want to see G2 not just go to MSI and learn a bunch and get smacked around. They want to see them go and be competitive and be proud of their performances and everything. And the G2 we saw today in the first couple games, and maybe even in Game 5, seemed like they were capable of doing something internationally, being a strong, scary team. Reckless had an awesome day today. He was an absolute beast, and he's still looking like an awesome part of this G2 lineup. But if you're going 5 games against Schalke, who's a team who really struggled in the LEC this year, that could be a little bit of a worrying trend. I know that's an old League of Legends meme. It could be something to keep an eye on. And let's see how G2 looks the rest of these playoffs. Is this the wake-up call for them? Do they now go on and smash through the rest of the playoffs? Or do they look a little bit shaky the rest of the playoffs? Do they struggle to close out series? Do they need to drag on some series maybe longer than they have to? I don't know. We'll see. But I am at least a little bit concerned after this series. Hopefully they're able to just flip the switch, turn things around. Hopefully scrims go better next week. Hopefully they're able to turn things around and look way better. But seems like Grabs is a little bit concerned. Seems like G2 fans are a little bit concerned, and I know I am as well. I know that Grabs also tweeted out after the game. He said, also, by the way, since we won, it doesn't sound so salty, but I really want to know who thought removing damage caps to neutrals on Jinx's R execute was a good idea and smoke him with whatever he's having. Because, yeah, I mean, it really did alter that game, too. G2 could have potentially had the soul a little bit sooner. And also, if Wonder wasn't there on the Scion to block that Baron, they could have stole Baron with it as well, which would have been absolutely hilarious and crazy and could have changed this whole series around. We could see G2 in the loser's bracket right now. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed it. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. Are you concerned for G2, or do you think they're just fine? Is this just G2 doing G2 things? I know they've struggled in Europe before. They've struggled in the playoffs before. They've gone to 5 games before, and it's never really mattered previously. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace!